The U.S.S. Indianapolis embarked on a clandestine expedition of the utmost importance, the nature of which was only known to a few. The mission had a dreadful undertone that would later include one of the deadliest shark attacks in history. Its assignment? The delivery of components integral to the creation of the atomic bomb. The heavy cruiser, commanded by Captain Charles Butler McVeigh III, carried a crew of nearly 1,200 men, oblivious to the significance of their seemingly ordinary voyage and the looming threat of the deep ocean's most fearsome predators. This was no casual journey, but a secret operation that would have a profound impact on the course of the Second World War, the fate of its crew, and the world at large. The crew of the Indianapolis successfully fulfilled their mission, transporting the deeply classified cargo to the island of Tinian. Nonetheless, they were unwittingly a part of a major historical pivot, their contribution only recognized by a selected few, and their impending encounter with the ocean's deadliest creatures. The ship's hold contained the elements of the atomic bomb, the very weapon that would mark the end of the war. This precious cargo to be assembled into what would be known as Little Boy. All this was achieved under the cover of darkness, with the ship disappearing into the horizon before dawn, unknown to the crew of their delivery and their imminent face-off with the terror of the seas. With their task completed, the crew of the Indianapolis set sail towards the Philippines, basking in the glory of their successful mission, blissfully unaware of the clandestine nature of their delivery and the lurking threat of shark-infested waters. However, their journey was far from over. As they navigated the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean, enemy submarines and deadly predators were lying in wait, observing movements. The crew had completed their mission, yet they were unaware of the impending disaster that was about to unfold. The Pacific Ocean, usually a place of adventure and discovery, was about to turn into a scene of great horror. The tranquility of the dark ocean night was shattered by the sudden impact of Japanese torpedoes. The U.S.S. Indianapolis, once a formidable force in the Pacific theater, was caught off guard in the still black water. The roar of the explosion echoed through the calm night, a deadly serenade to the unsuspecting crew. A Japanese submarine, the I-58, had been lying in wait. Its torpedoes, armed and ready, found their mark on the U.S.S. Indianapolis, ripping through the steel hull of the ship. The force of the impact was so devastating that it sent shockwaves coursing through the vessel, shaking it to its very core. On board, the crew of the Indianapolis was thrown into chaos. Officers barked orders over the cacophony of alarms, steam hissing from ruptured pipes, and the deafening roar of escaping air. Men scrambled on the tilting decks, desperately trying to make sense of the situation, their training kicking in amidst the confusion. The ship was sinking, and sinking fast. Every second felt like an eternity as the ship started to list dangerously. The noise of tearing metal and rushing water was an ominous soundtrack to their desperate attempts to evacuate. Lifeboats were launched, but time and the damage from the torpedoes were against them. Many men were forced to abandon ship, jumping into the dark, unforgiving ocean below. Water flooded into the ship, extinguishing the fires and plunging the interior into darkness. The once mighty U.S.S. Indianapolis, a symbol of American naval power, was reduced to a sinking wreck in a matter of minutes. In this chaos, the crew showed remarkable courage and resilience. Amid the panic and confusion, many risked their own lives, helping their comrades to safety, their bravery shining through the darkest of times. In just 12 minutes, the U.S.S. Indianapolis was swallowed by the sea, leaving hundreds of men adrift in the open ocean. The ship's demise was as rapid as it was devastating, a tragic chapter in the annals of naval history. But the story of the U.S.S. Indianapolis does not end here, for the true horror was yet to come for those left adrift in the vast, unforgiving sea. The dawn light revealed a horrifying scene. Survivors of the U.S.S. Indianapolis found themselves in the middle of the seemingly endless shark-ridden ocean. The boundless, heartless sea spread out infinitely around them, emphasizing their dire predicament. No longer a route of transit, the ocean had turned into a merciless arena of survival. Picture the fierce sunlight, its rays harshly punishing the men, their skins scorching under the unyielding heat. Dehydration rapidly became a daunting foe. Fresh water was a privilege not afforded to them, and the salty sea was a dangerous lure. Many gave in to the ingesting the seawater and accelerating their spiral into insanity, and in the end, death. The unforgiving weather elements proved to be a continuous enemy. For the fortunate ones with life jackets, their bodies floated on the surface, vulnerable to the sun's savage heat. During the night, the temperature took a steep fall, and hypothermia loomed over those who had survived the day. However, the sea, not their only assailant. Sharks, attracted by the smell of blood and the frenzied activity of men in the water, enclosed and attacked. The survivors retaliated with all they had: their hands, their voices, and their unyielding will to live. The bravery and solidarity amongst these men were awe-inspiring. They protected each other, pooled their remaining energy, and denied the sharks and the sea their victory. But the human spirit is sturdy. Within the tumult and despair, the men held on to their lives. Tales of heroism and fellowship arose from the aquatic abyss. Some formed teams, interlocking arms to stay afloat, exchanging words of hope, singing songs to uplift their morale. They waged a war against the ocean, the sharks, and their personal fears, demonstrating that even when faced with insurmountable odds, humanity can exhibit extraordinary courage and tenacity. For 4 terrifying days and nights, the men waited for rescue, their hope diminishing with each passing hour. In this vast, ruthless ocean, they were not just battling for survival, but for an opportunity to share their story, to ensure that the tragedy of the U.S.S. Indianapolis would be etched in memory forever. The sinking of the U.S.S. Indianapolis remains one of the most tragic events in naval history. After being struck by Japanese torpedoes, the ship went down quickly, leaving hundreds of crew members stranded in the open ocean. On the 4th day, a routine patrol flight stumbled upon the survivors of the U.S.S. Indianapolis. Lieutenant Wilbur Gwynn, piloting a PV-1 Ventura bomber, spotted a slick of oil, debris, and what appeared to be a group of men floating in the open water. He quickly radioed his base, setting in motion one of the most remarkable rescue operations in naval history. Rescue efforts were immediate and extensive. Navy vessels rushed to the scene, pulling survivors from the shark-infested waters. It was a shocking sight. Men, sunburned and dehydrated, clung to life rafts and debris, their spirits buoyed by the sight of their rescuers. The tally of survivors was grim, though. Of the nearly 1,200 crew members aboard the Indianapolis, only 316 were rescued. The rest had perished at sea, victims of exposure, dehydration, drowning, and shark attacks. In the aftermath, the sinking of the Indianapolis became a controversial topic. The ship's captain, Charles McVeigh, was court-martialed and convicted of hazarding his ship by failing to zigzag. Many of the survivors, however, steadfastly defended their captain, insisting that the blame lay not with him, but with the Navy for failing to provide a destroyer escort and not acting on intelligence that suggested the presence of a Japanese submarine in the ship's path. It took more than half a century, but in 2001, Captain McVeigh was posthumously exonerated by the United States Congress. The exoneration came too late for McVeigh, who had taken his own life in 1968, haunted by the loss of his men. The tragic sinking of the U.S.S. Indianapolis remains a stark reminder of the horrors of war and the bravery of those who serve. It is a story of heroism and tragedy, of men who faced unimaginable circumstances and a captain who carried the weight of their loss until the end. Today we remember the U.S.S. Indianapolis and the brave men who lost their lives in this tragic event. Their sacrifice is etched into the annals of history, a stark reminder of the human cost of warfare. Across the United States, memorials stand tall, paying homage to the U.S.S. Indianapolis and her valiant crew. In the heart of Indianapolis, a monument rises, depicting the ship in her final moments. It's not just a statue of cold stone and metal, but a symbol of courage and resilience, a tribute to the men who faced the unimaginable with bravery and determination. Each year, survivors and their families gather here, sharing stories, tears, and moments of silence. Their gatherings are poignant reminders that while the ship may have sunk, the spirit of its crew remains unsinkable. The tale of the U.S.S. Indianapolis is passed from generation to generation, keeping the memory of those lost at sea alive. But the impact of the U.S.S. Indianapolis extends beyond memorials and remembrances. This tragic event has shaped naval history and policy. The sinking led to significant changes in the way the Navy operates, particularly in terms of communication and disaster response. It served as a wake-up call, highlighting the importance of immediate action and the need for effective, reliable communication systems. Today, the lessons learned from the U.S.S. Indianapolis continue to influence naval strategies and protocols, ensuring that the sacrifice of her crew was not in vain. The tragedy has become a touchstone in naval training, a stark reminder of the realities of war and the importance of preparedness. The memory of the U.S.S. Indianapolis serves as a testament to the courage and resilience of those who serve, a reminder of the costs of war and a call to strive for peace. The legacy of the ship and her crew continues to ripple through time, a beacon of bravery, sacrifice, and resilience in the face of adversity. Their story is not only a part of naval history, but a part of our shared human history.